Hi guys, Tempest here. This time we'll be watching an Exciton Elimination 14 Grand Finals match between Molson Canadian and me. This tournament was a single day tournament which took place on 23rd November 2024 and had a double elimination structure. As usual with Exciton Eliminations, you have to play each match immediately after one after another. Although there were only 14 players registered, among them there were Whisk, Logger, Tiger, Celsius, Insids, El Loco and others. I already lost against Molson in winners finals, then I beat him after winning against Whisk in losers finals, and now we are playing for the third time in grand finals. I believe he won first game 2-0, I won the second one 2-0. So let's see where this final match will get us. We are playing Geargia Hands, while Molson is playing Fire King Hands with Skill Drain. All three parts of his deck are bad matchup for Geargia, but without high avatar Garunix he cannot run over Geargia armor, and he has some issues beating our acid golem, so we'll try to play with that in mind. Also worth mentioning is that at the tournament we didn't play Crazy Box in our extra deck. Molson again won Rock, Paper, Scissors and chose to start. He first activates Tanky, going for Barong. He will now set Yaksha and Wiretap as well, which is the correct line for his turn 1 board. We opened okay-ish. But with only one back row that can do anything, especially actually cannot do much against this Wiretap. So we could just set armor, but since he will for sure play around it, it's better to set Fire Hand here. He might even get rid of it with Bear, and that would be very good for us. I will of course set Fiendish Chain as well, so yeah, we set Fire Hand, which is correct play here. You can also play against Fire Kings in such a way that you keep them with one monster on the board, so their strongest card, Onslaught, cannot get used and is dead for as long as possible. Hence, Molson will now use both of his monsters to destroy or presumably set Geargia armor. And then probably use Soul Charge or something. So he has to go for Diamond Direwolf, which is actually not good for us because now Firehand won't be able to trigger because there are no monsters left on the field. We could use Fiendish Chain here and stall, but he'll just use his Wiretap then, probably. So yeah, we just let go to keep this Fiendish Chain in case he gets to Avatar. High Avatar, sorry. Now he uses Soul Charge, we use Max C to get 1-for-1 and stop him with these two guys. So he doesn't end now on any pesky rank 4s as well. And we'll see, Molson doesn't set any bluffs. Okay, now we can make some plays. Or we could play slowly with 2 background house protections, since he still cannot clear or set armor with 2 of these guys. And we have, yeah, Fiendish and Bottomless to protect against his rank 4s. But yeah, we could also just choose to play aggressively. And we'll, yeah, do just that with with Gear Gigant. We go for Gianna, so Gigant will float. We can easily clear this Barong, who doesn't do anything when destroyed by battle. And yeah, that way he'll have to make some plays next turn, so he can clear this Gigant. Otherwise, we'll be making Abyss Dweller later. So we add Extender, Accelerator, and just clear this Barong. Yeah, now he is still with a monster, so he still cannot use Onslaught yet, at least not in main phase 1. Molson top decks Lance, so this can out Gigant already, but it's probably not the best use of Lance in this deck. He has some plays he can make, although nothing very good without any Fire King guys in his grip, so this Yaksha cannot destroy anything. Yeah, he'll have to use Dark Hole actually, so we don't get another search with Gigant. Now since he doesn't use Yaksha, we know he doesn't have any Garunixes in hand. We could let Gigant float, sorry, not float, so Molson won't be able to use this Onslaught. He doesn't use Yaksha, but we still revive Giano. Because yeah, he'll still be able to get this Onslaught on board in any case next turn. So we just rather let him use now. He gets to Garunix and we use Bottomless, but he has Lance. So we wanted to bait this Onslaught with Bottomless, which didn't go through. And yeah, he decides to use Lance rather than Wiretap, which I think is not correct, because our set from before is clearly not Geargia Gear, and Lance is much more versatile than Wiretap, when he'll actually have to protect his Garunix. In any case, it's not that important, as both do about the same. He will now clear this Giano, and probably set Circle as well. Onslaught destroys H.A.T and he passes. We top deck another Accelerator, which is okay, I guess. In standby phase, H.A.T gets revived. And now we can make two rank 4s against 2 back row. So Giano, we start with Giano, MK2, who revives regular Giano, since he can choose to become level 4 if need be. So Arc, Gigant, and MK2 is 200 damage short of Killshot. So 1000, 2300, and 2100. But it's still probably the best play because then we keep this Garunix as XYZ material for Arc. The other plays are summoning a rank 3 such as Silver Mountain or Alucard. But in any case, we have to summon this Accelerator first, then we summon... Yeah, we went for this route. I don't think that's correct, but I suppose it might work. So Alucard will pop something. It targets Circle and Molson chains Circle, because otherwise he knows we will just make Arc and clear this H.A.T. So that's a correct read from Molson. And now we would have to make something like a Dweller, which cannot clear Barong, unfortunately. That is also, yeah, very well played on Molson's behalf. But we could make a Rhapsody. That's for sure the best play. Boost this Alucard, and before that clear Yaksha and Garunix from graveyard, so he would be left with only Wiretap. That is for sure the correct play. Let's see what we will make. I mean, that's not really much. Okay, Gigant. So we are apparently relying on this Fiendish chain, so next turn we would make Arc. I mean, it works if he doesn't have MST or Wiretap, which he does. Yeah, if we would make Rhapsody to boost our Alucard, we would be without a follow-up, that's true, in case he top decks a Hand, Soul Charge maybe, or Onslaught, that's true, even Wolfbark. Yeah, so we'll do this play, since Baron cannot trigger when destroyed by battle, Accelerator for next turn XYZ play. We put Molson to 3400 and rely a bit on this Fiendish chain. Tank is a very good top deck for Molson. And in standby phase, this Avatar comes back. We'll use Fiendish. he will use wiretap here. And now Tanky can get Gigant Floats into Giano, and Tanky can get to Wallbark. He'll probably make Tiger King, so we'll have trouble outing both along with this new Tanky he'll set. I would probably use Tiger King's effect here, because actually, why not? There really is no chance you get to use Tiger King's effect twice otherwise. Yeah, he attacks directly with Garunix for first damage to us. Some back row would really be beneficial here, but we top deck MK2, which might come handy later. We'll start with armor, then accelerator. I guess we'll have to make... We could go for Ragna 0, pop this, and get another draw. Hope to get something like Fiendish, but that's really risky. We would only summon MK2 if we knew with top deck mind control. With Ragna 0, then we would actually win, exactly. But yeah, here we'll have to use Exciton. So next turn we can out this Garunix with Acid Golem. Standby phase, Garunix gets revived, he attacks, he doesn't summon Ice Hand. And that is a misplay for sure, because this allows us to use Soul Charge for 2 to make Arc, which he cannot out. Also, it allows us to have one more turn with Acid Golem. So yeah, he should for sure summon this Ice Hand to put us to as low life points as possible. We top deck Ice Hand as well, and we'll just have to make this Acid Golem. We decide to tin the deck for one card because MK2 is not a good top deck anymore at this exact time. But actually, if he... Actually, he'll be able to out this golem, so maybe keeping one... No, MK2, keeping one MK2 is for sure the correct play. We shouldn't tin here, because he will be able to out this this golem. Yeah, Garunic triggers, and we are really desperate here. Warning for Molson is another perfect top deck, and yeah, this wins game 1 with the warning. He summons Ice Hand, makes Arc, clears Cell Golem, attacks for 2100. Now we top deck Compulse, which is basically a perfect top deck here. But since he has exactly warning, we might play this out in a way that will be bad for us. We'll see what Molson top decks another Ice Hand, and he attacks with Arc. We could use Compulse here to bounce this Arc, but I still agree it's better to risk that one warning and switch for Fire Hand. So this means Ice Hand would get destroyed, and would destroy this back row. We would summon Fire Hand, and when he would attack with Ice Hand into attack position Fire Hand, we would bounce Arc, and Ice Hand would also die. We would just then attack directly with Fire Hand. If we top deck a monster, we would win. But he has warning and enough life points, so we get nothing, and we will now have to compulse this Ice Hand. Here, if we were to top deck MK2, we could still make Zen Mines, but we are without MK2s, so that's why I said it might come to us, and it would easily come to a scenario we would need another MK2, so thinning the deck is not always the best. Breakthrough skill, and yeah, that's scoop. Some very clutch top decks for Molson got him to a driver's seat, but that Alucard into Geargia Hand X was surely not the correct play. We'll hope our side decks will do more than Molson's Nobleman of Crossouts. We opened Macro Cosmos along with Debunk, although with no way to get to armor. So we'll once again set this Firehand and every back row. Molson will try to bait some stuff before he uses his Dark Hole, although he does open the road to Ice Hand to trigger, so I don't know about this tanky before Dark Hole. Actually, he might want for us to get to Firehand, to be fair. I don't know if Molson was playing in favor of that. The tanky gets him Yaksha, and he uses Dark Hole, then summons it. We will use Bottomless, he will Lance. Yeah, Yaksha really is an easy target for our debunk and macro, but not with only MK2 in our hand, so yeah, that's why we had to use Bottomless immediately. Not much we can do, so we'll take 1000, and Molson will set this skill drain as well. Ice Hand is a good top deck. Before we will have to activate our Macrocosmos. So we will set it, and because it's better to use his battle phase first, and then see where we're at, and not attack this Yaksha, and it doesn't do much. Okay, Bear, yeah, he top decked the Onslaught, and knows he cannot out our armor, so he goes for Bear, and yeah, he will use his effect. We could use Macrocosmos here, but why? He probably wouldn't attack then, he would just make a rank 4, but that's really not good. Just let him destroy this Ice Hand. We think we are bluffing armor or something. So he pops Ice Hand destroys this skill drain for free. Yeah, that's really the worst for him, because now we cleared skill drain, which was a very bothersome card for us. He actually wants to use this to destroy Firehand with Bear, so we will destroy Yaksha to get these Garuniks going. But we rather destroy Bear and summon Ice Hand. Yeah, I don't know, we were maybe trying to play around this Onslaught, but this surely wasn't the correct, a really weird play. We could keep this Fiendish chain still intact. Yeah, we did play for 7 or even 8 hours straight, so Exciton eliminations are often a result of whoever makes the least misplays. For sure, destroying Yaksha here was the better play. And then having this Ice Hand for Bear, who cannot run over it. So another Fiendish chain for us. We will be able to protect our Ice Hand unless he plays Kyr Gorgon. We decide to set MK2 as bluff, which I'm again not sure if I agree with, because it provides almost nothing beneficial. If he'll make a rank 4, he'll most likely attack our Ice Hand first, and we'd have to Fiendish that. Setting MK2 only works if we top deck exactly Arsenal, so we could make 2 armors or a rank 3 plus armor, so yeah, I don't think it's correct to set him here. Fortunately for us, Molson top decks Nobleman, and he'll use it immediately. This play is so using Nobleman, but he really cannot afford for us to have armor. Okay, and we finally see Geargia Gear, we set it, and we're off to the races. Maybe this Fiendish chain wasn't so bad after all, because he's really stuck with this Yaksha. Another dead Onslaught for Molson. As I mentioned before, sometimes keeping these Fire Kings at one Fiendish chained monster on the field can get you in the driver's seat. He doesn't set anything, and we use Geargia Gear in end phase. Armor is an okay top deck. We could make a boosted Abyss Dweller, but first we make Gigant or two. Molson already used his Dark Hole, so there really isn't much he can top deck here. If he had lands, he would probably set it, but yeah. If he top decks Wolfbark, he can out our whole board with lands. But he, as we said, he probably doesn't have one. So we'll see if we'll use macro here. Yeah, maybe using macro was better play. So we do some damage. We use a Dweller, of course, before. We set armor and pass. Torrential Tribute for Molson is a mediocre top deck at this game state. Maybe he could turn this around against some players, but we'll just play around Torrential. Around any set, actually. He starts with Onslaught, of course, summoning his second Garunix. We really don't want to use this Fiendish here yet, because we'll debunk Avatar. So we let him destroy Dweller. He sets one Bluff and Torrential. And at the end of main phase 2, we use Macrocosmos. Sorry, we actually don't really have to need this debunk. Now Gigant will add us armor to play it slowly in case he will use Torrential Tribute on flip summon of armor. We flip armor, he does not use anything, and we'll take one more turn, rather leaving him on 800 life points. So Cornkel also wins the game, not under macro, but still. Yeah, there's really no top deck that can save him here anymore. He will use Onslaught for Yaksha. Just try to resolve it, so he will MST macro in end phase. Yaksha gets destroyed. We let it destroy this high avatar, and in standby we debunk our Garunix. If he had wiretap, we would just finish chain him on the destruction effect, and then we just make arc. So yeah, when we debunk his scopes, Torrential Tribute couldn't have done anything for Molson after he drew it, so it actually wasn't a good top deck because we didn't play into it. Game 3. So a decent hand for Molson until he draws his second Garunix, which downgrades the quality of his hand quite a bit. His onslaughts will now be much weaker, and also with this tanky now he has to go for Yaksha rather than anything else. The only good part of this situation is that we don't know he has both Garunixes in grip. For us, yeah, also not a good hand. We'll see what sixth card will bring us. So he'll use Tanky for Yaksha. Either he will set his normal summons it straight up and passes. He maybe wants for us to attack ice with Ice Hand, so he will MST this Tanky and Ice Hand would not trigger. So that's why he summoned in attack. We top deck Debunk, which is very good, but it depends if he'll use his MST in end phase. Fire King actually don't care all that much about Geargia Gear because one Garunix can clear everything. So you'd rather MST when you want your Garunix or XYZ plays to go through. What I'm trying to say is that Molson most likely won't use MST here in end phase. We decide to set Ice Hand because it pops his back row in damage step or this Tanky if need be, rather than Armor, who he may out with Nobleman easily. Molson top decks another MST, so he will use first one. If we had Geargia Gear, he would have to summon Wolfbark as well, which is not good for him. And then in main to clear both summoned Gianos, and then he would make Tiger King in main phase 2 to get another Yaksha via his second tanky probably, along with Nobleman of course. But still it's worth using MST here, and yeah, we do not have Geargia Gear. He uses Nobleman and decides to push for 19 only. He doesn't summon this Wallbark, of course. Yeah, if this debunk would somehow go through against this Yaksha, he would really be left without anything. 2 Garunix, 1 Death, Wolfbark, MST, and yeah, so basically nothing. MST for us. It's probably best to set this MST here because we might have to use it on this tank in case he top decks Bear exactly. And for monster we'll of course set armor here. Barong for Molson. He summons him. And with all set armor hands all this time, he decides to attack. Interesting. Yeah, now it can be seen when without skill drain this deck, without immediate access to Garunix as well, Fire Kings really struggle against Geargia or armor specifically. Yeah, I suppose he thought we set something weak such as Giano or Hand, which would trigger all of his Fire Kings, and decided to risk it. Now we'll get a free search and we'll add the Accelerator. Yeah, we also bluffed a little, thinking on the summon of Barong, making him think we actually set armor. And also, yeah, we set Hand the previous turn, so he thinks we probably don't have armor because we would have set it before, of course. Okay, so we have to add the extenders. If armor will survive or won't be negated, we'll add arsenal later, but it depends on the top deck. You should always add extenders first. He doesn't XYZ because he has to keep this Yaksha in loop. We top deck Firehand, so now we can normal summon Firehand with all the extenders we already have if need be, but we probably won't. Armor gets set and flipped face up. We'll add a third extender. Because we have set this MST we'll have to use now here. That's why I added extenders first. So destroy MST, which is correct. We'll summon 2 accelerators and use armor as XYZ material first, since he cannot get reset, and that is a misplay actually. Because the plan is to end on 2 Gigants and a Dweller or Rhapsody, even better. So we should use armor for the XYZ summon in the main phase 2 and do 1100 more damage that way. But we didn't, so we summon 2 more accelerators now, make another Gigant, add Arsenal. So our Gigants will float. With Crowing Grip and Dweller or Rhapsody, we'll see what we'll make. We just attack this Barong first, who doesn't do anything, then the Yaksha, who of course will use its effect to discard Garunix. Yeah, now this armor could attack directly if we have left it. So Giano for Arsenal, and the last XYZ should be Rhapsody for sure, because we need space and to prevent his soul charge as much as possible. It's much better than Abyss Dweller, even if he top decks a Firehand with no back row. Firehand can only clear one guy. But we make Dweller, okay. He can also out this Dweller easily with 1000 with Yaksha or Barong if he top decks it. So in draw phase we use Dweller. Now Molson will use this Dark. Okay, he decides to summon Wolfbark first, which I'm pretty sure is not correct. This way he'll stay without Wolfbark if we have something like Crow. And also we'll be left with Giano as well. So I know Exciton sounds attracting, but it wouldn't be able to clear even armor next turn with 4 cards for each player. And yeah, we crowed this Barong. Now he has to use Dark Hole. As we said, he's without any field presence. We have Giano, so now we are in driver's seat once again. Using Soul Charge here is not okay. We should just push for as much damage as possible. So we go for Arsenal and Firehand for 3100. We keep Soul Charge for 5 for next turn to make a comeback if need be. And as for rank 4s, basically Emerald is the best option, so we can recycle some Crow and some XYZs. Because we want to get to active back row, we can still Soul Charge for 5 even after that, even after 1 the Gusto Emerald resolution. So yeah, Emerald is the best play, but then Ragnar Zero is maybe close second, I guess. Probably Crow, Gigant, and Dweller we return here. So we also don't put much more monsters into the deck, only Crow. We top deck another Crow or the same Crow. Also, without Wolfbark, there really isn't much Molson can top deck at this point. We see what he top decks. Yaksha, that's a really good top deck because it clears this Emerald immediately. I mean, it would be a good top deck if we didn't have Crow already. And now Book of Moon for us. So we're free to make all our Soul Charge play. We revive 5 probably, as much as possible. Since Book will protect us from his Exciton attempt, we'll tee in Arsenal for armor. So we tee in the deck for 1 card. There are multiple ways to play this out, but probably the best one is making Ragnar Zero to get 1 more draw. We can also chain Macrocosmos. First we get 1 Gigant. Oh, we used armor already, okay. That's weird. Now we'll be left with 1 accelerator rather than armor, but it doesn't really matter. We are +7. So yeah, here you make Ragnar. Okay, we could at least detach first and then chain macro, but okay. So accelerator would be in graveyard. We are making small mistakes, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, here we also should have kept armor instead of accelerator, but we are here +7. We also get Dimensional Fissure, which is an overkill. We activated Fissure as well, and Molson top decks Barong and admits defeat. So yeah, 2 Garunixes meant he was only playing with 4 cards, so very unlucky for him. But that's sometimes the issue when playing decks such as Fire King, where you play these heavy bricks. You'd rather have in your deck. That's just how it is. 1 set of Ice Hand before that Geargia Armor was the most crucial play of this match, of this game, and that won us the game when he used Nobleman of Crossout. Anyway, well played from Molson as always. We were both probably very tired at this point. I finished with a 5-1 score and won my first out of 3 Exciton Elimination tournaments. Interestingly, I only played against 3 different players this tournament. First round against Logger, then twice against Ziwski, and 3 times against Molson Canadian. That's just how these double elimination tournaments can go sometimes. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy. Bye.